Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
As always, we'll give our honor and praise and glory to Most High Haya, Bahashem Yasha, for Wat Kadash. That's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I am Brother Ma'ai, and this is Brother Tyler from the Awakening of Ahai's Elect Church. Today, I'm going to try to cut down the introduction to get on with the lesson. And we're going to go, I guess we're going to round the tails of last week's lesson. Last week, we talked about the grafted in doctrine, but we're not going to get so much into the are you a disciple of Christ or are you a Christian, but we're going to get more into we're going to try to break down through the Spirit the truth about the grafted in doctrine, you know, because that's that's one of the major doctrines of Christianity. You know, the Gentiles have boasted against the natural branches. They've gone against commandment and have said that the Most High has basically cast away his people and has replaced God's people with Gentiles. Or it don't matter anymore who you are, what's your genealogy, because we all are spiritual Israel, where there's no scripture in the Bible that says anything about a spiritual Israel. So let's just go and get straight to it. Let's start at Romans 11, chapter 17, and verse 19.
So the title is part 2? Or?
No, truth about the grafted in doctrine. It's the title.
Romans 11.
17, verse 9 through verse 19. Count when everyone is there. Let's get it.
Testing. Test.
So before we get to the precept, let us consider this, right? Why are other nations trying to get grafted in to another nation's tree? That's something to just think about. Why? No, that's a rhetorical question. Okay? But before as we are aware of, before this world power or generation, every nation served their own God and knew that they served different gods. Right?
Okay.
Like, why is it so important for a Gentile nation to be grafted in to an Israelite tree or family? Right? Think about that. Why has another nation stolen the identity of the Israelites? If, you know, there's no such thing of the Most High, there's no such thing of creator. If science is true and we came from Big Bang Theory or this out of chance we evolved, why are these people so insistent on being Israel? Like, why not be a Chinese? Why not be an African? Why steal the identity of the children of Israel? Why try to hijack the premises that their God, because the Bible says that Ahia is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their seed. So he's the God of the Hebrews. So if the God of the Bible never said he was the God of the whole world, why is the nation outside of what he said so insistent and persistent on being part of him? Could it be so that he said he's the God of all gods? And these other nations know the true history. Because the Most High has proven himself through history. Just as we're going to learn today, we say that he'll be sanctified in his children. The heathen will see him be sanctified. They will know that he is a pure, righteous, and the true God, the true living God. after he destroyed all theirs. Right? That's something to think about as we go through this lesson. Because today, Gentiles have hijacked Christianity and changed it. It has made it paganism. Last week we said, are you a disciple of Christ or are you a Christian? Because these people that has hijacked the culture of God's people have really hijacked it and changed it. Because they were never they never called themselves Christians. They were the people of the law. They was God's chosen people. Right? The Gentiles created Christianity. And actually, I just got into this stuff earlier today. And I'm going to show y'all that where the Romans, who we know are the Jewish people, created all these religions through the Roman Catholic Church. Like they created Islam to destroy and to control the Arabs. They created Christianity to destroy and control God's people. So they have hijacked the culture and said that they're grafted in now to make the children of Israel of less importance, or their heritage, their inheritance of less importance. But let's see if that's so through the scriptures. Romans chapter 11, verse 17 through 19 reads.
And it reads, and if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches. But if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
And that's exactly what the Gentiles have done. Specifically, Esau. We know today as the Caucasians or the Jewish people. They have created a doctrine saying that it don't matter what your bloodline is, who your father is. God loves all people, and therefore his promises have changed. So now he's changed his promises to God's people and given his promises to another people. Right? Malachi chapter 3 verse 6 says, I am a higher, therefore I do not change. Psalms 33 verse 11 to 12, it says that, let's read that real quick. Psalms 33 verse 11 and 12. So it starts out for all generations. Right? Verse 11 reads, the counsel of a higher standeth forever. So that right there goes against their doctrine. What the Most High says and what he promises, it goes forever. In harmony with Malachi 3:6. Read that real quick. Malachi 3:6. Y'all stay where y'all at. I'm going to try to read that real quick.
The last one before Malachi. Chapter
3:6.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am Ahiah, I change not.
So he is a higher, he changed not. This is why it's important to study thyself to be approved before the Most High, because anyone can be fooled by not dividing the word of truth correctly. Most High says he is a higher, therefore he does not change. There's nothing like him. There is nothing that he fears. No one that can get him to change his mind. No threat to him exists. Right? People lie and change their stories because of fear. The Most High don't fear nothing. Okay? So he don't change. What he promises, he swear by himself, it will come to pass. Okay? It says, back in Psalms 33, verse 11 and 12 says, the counsel of a higher standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is a higher, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. So there's a people that he has chosen for his own inheritance. They're called the children of Israel, the children of Jacob, 12 tribes of Israel. So blessed are they. This is why the nations right now, every year, give billions of dollars to these fake Jewish people, these Khazarian German people, because they have stolen our identity. And the people know that the Bible promised Abraham, the Most High promised Abraham, he would bless who bless him and curse who curse him. So they think they bind themselves brownie points with the Most High by sending their money to these fake Jews. Okay? But let's get back to the lesson. So it says, if some of the branches be broken off, right? We're going to break this down later. So I just want to start with that. I'm not going to break it down now. We're going to read these scriptures and we're going to break this whole chapter down. Okay? But to be grafted into something, that means something is promised to this tree. Right? Something is promised. And for the layman out there, we're going to go to the beginning. So we understand what the promises are that the Most High made to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. Because it's like it says back in Romans 11. Go to the scripture I told y'all. Because it says, that because they were grafted among the Israelites, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. So there's riches, there's blessings that come from the root. Right? And the root is the Most High. So those who are grafted in among the Israelites will be blessed. And we're going to find that this is in harmony with the promise that he made to Abraham. Right? But he made a covenant with a people, with a person and his seeds. The Bible don't say seeds. Although Abraham is promised to be, a father of many nations, many nationalities, the promise went to one of his seeds, one of his children, not all of them. Right? So let's prove that. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 through 3.
Now Ahiah had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country.
Now, this to give you a little backdrop on what's going on. Like, most people read this, and all you read, you say, well, the Most High is telling Abraham to leave his country. Well, why is the Most High telling Abraham to leave? Well, his people, Nimrod, was seeking his life. Abraham had just destroyed his father Terah's gods. Right? So Abraham had just broke the law of the land, destroyed the gods of the nation that they lived under. The penalty for that was death. So Nimrod was telling Terah, bring me your son, Abram. The Most High saved Abraham and told him, get thee out of your country. Okay? Let's go.
Verse 2. Continue in verse 1. Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee.
Just like every other prophet, his own people was trying to destroy him. Right? I'm going to take you to a land that I'm going to show you. Right? The beginning of faith, the Most High is showing the faith that Abraham had in him. Most High told him, hey, kick rocks, follow me, be perfect. Drop everything that you're doing and go. one day that same command will come upon us. Will we have the same faith of Abraham? Right? Let's go.
Verse 2. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Now, see, there's the promise. And that's what the Gentiles are misinterpreting. The Most High promised that through Abraham, all families on the earth, not just the Israelites, will be blessed because of the faith of Abraham. Right? This time, Abraham has no children. He's saying, I'm going to make you, I'm going to multiply you. Like, I'm about 90. I'm about 80-something years old right now. No children. But it says, I will bless thee that bless thee, and curse who curse you. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. And it's another area where Israelites stumble at, believing that only the Israelites will make it in the kingdom. But the Most High is telling us through Abraham that all families of the earth, not just the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Chapter 17 in Genesis, verse 1 through 27.
Con, when everyone's there. The book of Genesis, chapter 17, starting at verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Most High appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me, and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee.
So here's a contract. The Most High is establishing with a righteous man. And no, this is to show you how deep the sorcery or the mind play that these people have played with God's children. Is there any other people trying to get anything from another nation? Like, who's trying to go and be part of, call themselves spiritual Japanese or spiritual Chinese men? Because Buddha promised the Chinese men something. Who's trying to steal the Africans' God and promises from them? Who's trying to steal the white man or the Edomites' God and promises from them? Every other nation. Who's trying to take what their God has promised them from them? And who's claimed their identity? I can think of none. So what I'm trying to bring out is the real importance of these people and the real truth of this Bible and its author, the Most High. The people that have our records know that this God in this Bible is true and real. So much that they have spent and exhausted all their efforts on keeping the secret keeping the promises and keeping it a secret from God's children. Just think about that though. Like, why you want me grafted in our tree? Serve your own God. This whole world, truthfully, revolves around the Most High and His children. This is why they lie to us about everything. Because there's nothing more important than the children that are considered to Him the apple of His eye. Every event that goes on in the earth has to do with the Israelites, the children of God. Everything. Even in captivity, look at the importance of us. In every facet of life, people, other nations are copying these slaves who they despise and demonize. But you're still copying these people. Why? If they are what you say they are, why are you copying trash? You call us trash. You call us less than human. Like, why are you copying us? Let's get to these promises and show how true our God is. These people know who created this earth. Even though they don't serve him, they know that he's real. History has proved it. Not just history, but the fact that we exist today proves that the Most High is real. Okay? Let's go though.
Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee.
For those who don't know, a covenant is a contract, an agreement. Okay?
And thou shalt be a father of many nations.
So out of your loins, many nationalities I will make. Okay?
Verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful.
Are we not? Even in captivity, we still putting them out. In hard bondage, no matter what situation these people are in, they produce babies. Okay?
And I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
See, these are promises. Kings should come out of your loins. Rulership, what the Most High is promising Abraham's children. Rulership, dominion of the world. That's a huge promise. That's an awesome promise. You see what the fighters are really about? Why they demonize the future kings of the earth? Dominion was promised. Not just dominion, but to have dominion, you must have dominion over something. Right? We're going to find out that land was also promised. And not just Israel. Right? This is a portion of the land that the Most High promised us. We're going to see that the Bible is going to say from sea to sea, the whole earth is for these people. And important people, huh?
Okay.
Let's get it.
Verse 7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations.
Me and you, and your seed after you, throughout their generations. So this is an everlasting covenant from the Most High. Now we see why we have this watered down Christianity doctrine again, that you die and you go to heaven. If you believe you die and go to heaven, I'm going to say it again. That's your hope. Christianity has deceived us and robbed us of our promise. The Most High promised us dominion on this earth. Not going to heaven. Y'all get it? Let's go.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee.
So the Most High said that he will establish it. He will firmly establish it where no one can take it away.
And thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant.
For who?
For an everlasting covenant.
This is an everlasting contract with these people.
To be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
See, now, as y'all know, Abraham is not the only man that exists on earth right now. He says to be a God to you and your family. Out of all the families on the earth. Matter of fact, let me read that real quick. Stay with y'all there. This is what our people need to hear. Right? Amos chapter 3 verse 1 reads, hear this word that Ahiah has spoken against you, O children of Israel. Now Israel right now is the grandson of the man we're reading about. That seed that he was talking about. This is the fulfillment of the promise that the Most High promised him. This man was 99 years old. He promised him that he would multiply him as the sands of the sea. And this is a seed that the covenant, this everlasting covenant, goes to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. So this is years later. Hear this word that Ahiah has spoken against you, O children of Israel. Now, these seeds, he done had children too. 12 of them, and they had kids. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities or sins. So this is the Most High keeping this promise to Abraham. He said that I will be a God unto you and to your seed forever. Well, see, in the world, or the Romans, that's what really run this thing. These fake Jewish people teaches us that it don't matter who you are. As long as you accept Jesus, as your Lord and Savior, you a child of God. Well, that just destroys what the Most High just said, if that's true. He said, I will be a God to you and your seed and will establish my covenant with you and your children forever. We read earlier that he said, I am Ahiah. I do not change. We read again, he says, my thoughts are forever, and the thoughts of my heart are to all generations. They're lying to us because of the promises. When you steal someone's identity and their rulership, you don't want to tell them the truth that the kingdom really belongs to them. Because then you would lose your kingdom. But the Most High said no one can stop it, so their kingdom is over with. We're going to get that too. But let's keep going. Amos chapter 3, verse 1 to 3. 1 to 2. 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. So all this time, we started off talking earlier that other nations serve other gods and still do to this day. Like you would find out that truthfully, the Roman Catholic Church and Islam serve the same God. Baal, Satan. When I show y'all this video, you're going to see it's the same symbols. When you're going to see the same Baphomet, the male-female deity. In Islam, that crescent moon and that star, that's a male-female deity. It goes all the way back to Isis and Osiris. Male-female. Set. In Islam, though, they call him Allah, but Allah translates into Set, Satan. All these religions are owned and ran by Satan. He has the seed, remember, the whole world. So that's why the Bible tells you the truth. It calls the Roman Catholic Church the mother of the harlots. All religions come from the Roman Catholic Church. Satan has used the Edomites to dominate and take over dominion of the earth. And when they come in, and whenever they conquer any nation, they're going to set up a Roman Catholic Church. Okay? Let's go.
The book of Genesis chapter 17 and verse 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan.
See, all the land of Canaan. Remember, the land of Canaan was originally the land of Shem. Canaan, the youngest son of Ham, the father of the so-called Africans. Son stole Shem's land and named it after himself. So Most High is giving the children of Israel their land back. Right? So this land belongs to the children of Israel, not these Jewish people. Okay, let's go. He said all of it. And he gave us in the Bible the borders. Okay, let's go.
For an everlasting possession.
An everlasting possession.
And I will be their God. And the Most High said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man-child in your generations. He that is born in the house, or brought with the money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Now let's stop there for a minute, because a lot of people miss this. Abraham's kingdom was a foreshadowing of Christ's kingdom. Within Abraham's kingdom was Gentiles. We just read it. Read that part again.
God.
Of the stranger.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man-child in your generations. He that is born in the house, or brought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Which is not of thy seed. So that's a Gentile, right?
God.
Now check it out though, right? We're going to find later that when I think Abraham sent out the head of his house to go search Isaac a wife. A Gentile was ruler over Abraham's house, although a servant. That's what we miss when we read the Bible. And these people who keep lying to us, and even our own brethren who know they're Israel, they're missing this. Because they don't understand that they are serving a hateful God. That's why Christ said, if Abraham was your father, you would love me. If you understood Abraham, you understand the kingdom that's coming. Just because the Most High said that these people, these Gentiles, will be our servants, don't mean that it's like it's going to be like it is for us today. Here's a Gentile who's over Abraham's house, who have authority over his house. He has authority. But notice, everyone that's in Abraham's household must be under the Most High's covenant. It's serving the same God as Abraham. Or what? Keep reading.
Verse 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is brought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
See, his covenant would be in the seed. Hey, can y'all mute your phone?
As joined.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
See, none of that's going on in the kingdom. Be no uncircumcised person, meaning for example, no unrighteous people who's not following the laws and commandments would be in God's kingdom. No person in Abraham's house, they couldn't do their own thing. They had to follow the Most High or be cut off. Okay? So if our Father can be around Gentiles, why can't we? Just it. Are we better than our father Abraham? I think not. None of us can compare to Abraham. Not even close. Right? But let's go.
Verse 15. And the Most High said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
See that? Rulership is coming out of her womb. Okay? How many children did Sarah have? One. But she became a mother of many nations. Remember, the bondwoman had more children than the free. Sarah had one seed. It's one child. Isaac. Right? And so that's Abraham had many children, but Sarah had one. And that is the seed that the Most High was promising Abraham, that his covenant will go through forever. Okay, well, let's go.
Verse 17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart.
Now, is Abraham really laughing at the Most High, or is he laughing at the ideal? Like, he waits till I get 99 years old and Sarah 90. Like, wow, Most High, you're awesome. You know, they've been doing a lot of practice for a lot of years. They have lost hope in having children. But Most High love showing his strength in weak things. They're way beyond the bloom of youth. Way beyond the ideal of having a child. The Most High made the impossible possible for a sign that this was of him. Okay?
Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old, and Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto the Most High, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
See? We skipped that part. But because Sarah has lost hope in having a child, and she was a follower and believer of the Most High, she gave her handmaid Hagar to Abraham to try to fulfill the purpose, the promise. Right? Most High said, listen to your wife. Because he promised Abraham that he'd be a father of many nations. So out of Abraham came the Arabs. Ishmael is the father of the Arabs. Right? But he promised that the covenant would come through Sarah. Let's go.
And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant.
See, not with Ishmael, my covenant will be established with Isaac forevermore.
And with his seed after him.
And with his children.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
And he kept his promise with Ishmael. Right? The Arabs are a great nation. They have 12 princes even to this day. Showing you that the God that we serve is true and faithful. He promised Abraham that his son would be blessed. Abraham loved Ishmael. That was his first son. Mm-hmm. He thought that he was the promised son, the promised seed, for 12 years. I only been fortunate to have my son for 4 years. Couldn't imagine another 8. And the Most High tell me that, well, I know that my son is a child of the kingdom, but just imagine me raising my son up. That's the promise. Ishmael is believing he's the promise. Mm-hmm. Abraham believing that Ishmael is the promise. Everybody in the household believed that Ishmael is the promised child. But 12 years later, the Most High said, no, Ishmael is not the promised child. Sarah will bear you a son at 90 years old. And you should call his name Isaac, which means laughter, because they laughed. Okay? Well, let's go.
Verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were brought with his money, and every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins in the self same day, as the Most High had said unto him.
Where you want?
To 27.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house.
Can y'all imagine the pain of that? 99 years old, and you get your foreskin cut off. So Abraham had to go through a little pain for the covenant, right? Like his children have to go through a little pain for the covenant, right?
Okay.
Well, let's go.
And all the men of his house, born in the house, and brought with the money of the stranger, were circumcised with him.
See, everybody in Abraham's house was under the covenant. Okay? Genesis chapter 21, verse 16 and 17. See, we just keep reading about this promise because when they say they grafted in, this is what they're saying. They're saying the Most High has changed his promise that he said was forevermore. It's everlasting. Okay? So we know what they're talking about when it says that they have taken the place of us. Okay? Genesis 21 verse 16 reads, and said, by myself have I sworn, says Ahiah, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, your only son. Remember, the Most High had told Isaac, yes.
Where are you reading?
Genesis 21 verse 16.
And she went and said,
Oh, 22. I'm sorry. 22.
22.
Yeah, 22. All right, lost for a minute.
22:16.
22:16?
Yeah. Yeah. So the Most High had told Abraham to sacrifice his son, right? Abraham and Isaac were both faithful to the command. So as Abraham has the knife up, getting ready to destroy his son, the Most High sent his angel and stopped him. Right? So he says, and said, by myself have I sworn, says Ahiah, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the sea shore, and thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. You possess something, you own it. Your sons will own the world. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Again, in your seed shall all the nations, the other people outside of your seed will be blessed as well. Not take over dominion, but they will be blessed as well. Because thou hast obeyed my voice. Now, the Most High does not require any of us to sacrifice our children, right? But we have to have the same mindset as Abraham. We can't put our children, our mothers, our fathers, our friends, our family, no one before the Most High. At the end of the day, all of it belongs to the Most High. You can't withhold something from its owner as like if it's yours. You get it? Because therefore, you make that individual a God. You put something, Most High, so you put nothing above him. Nothing. We have to learn from our father Abraham. We put nothing before the Most High. Whatever he commands us to do, we must do.
The next precept, the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44, verses 19 through 23. Once again, that's Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44, verses 19 through 23.
This is a wonderful chapter. I advise y'all to read this in your own time. But it's going to start off from the first scripture, right? It says, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. Verse 2, 44. It says, the highest has worked great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Okay? So, then read 3. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Okay? It goes farther and farther. It's just breaking down some of the great people that the Most High used as servants. Our fathers. Okay? Our true history. People we should really be learning about. Not these entertaining stuff that these people give us on, well, just this month. Is this Black History Month?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's not true Black history. This is true Black history.
Okay.
Okay?
Ecclesiastes chapter 44 in verse 16. Wait, Salaki. In verse 19. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him.
You see that? Now, when you read the New Testament, it tells you it was the faith of Abraham that made him righteous, right?
Mm.
See, without faith, your works is dead. And without works, your faith is dead. But it says before, Abraham, put it this way, to follow the Most High, you must follow his laws.
Mm.
He says, walk before me and be thou perfect. If you're walking before the Most High, you're following his commandments. And he says, can two walk together unless they be agreed? Right? Mm-hmm. So, but the most important thing is Abraham believed what the Most High promised. Abraham believed everything that came out of the Most High mouth. Because he believed him, he followed his laws. Just because he didn't write a tablet of commandments to Abraham does not mean he didn't follow the law. Just because the Most High sent tablets through Moses to Israel did not mean that they followed the law. Obviously, they didn't. The majority of them, some did. But without all that handwritten stuff on a tablet, Abraham listened to the Most High's voice when he spoke. Mm-hmm. That's why he is able to write, Abraham followed the law of the Most High. But he did them both. He believed and he was obedient. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey?
Okay.
Even though we are the people of the law, we must believe the Most High. Like I said, you can follow the holy days, you can not eat pork, catfish, shrimp, all that stuff. But if you don't believe the Most High, you're not serving him. You're just doing something as a tradition. But the Most High is far removed from your heart. We must believe the Most High and serve him. Like our father Abraham. Let's go.
Who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful.
See? When he was proved, he was found faithful. So nothing the Most High asked Abraham to do did he not do. He did more than just ask him to sacrifice Isaac. You get it? So when we're proved, when the Most High tests us, will we be found faithful? That's a question to ponder on. All of us. When it goes down in America, when it goes down in Jamaica, when it goes down in Puerto Rico, when it goes down in Africa, when it goes down in Mexico, as they say, will we be found faithful? When it goes down in Hawaii, when it goes down in Hades, not Hades, but Haiti. Like I'm saying hell or something, keep getting them two mixed up. Right? Will we be found faithful?
Verse 21. Therefore he assured him by an oath.
See, this promise is assured by an oath. Remember the Most High said, by myself, I swear. There's nothing greater than the Most High, so he swear by himself.
That he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him.
He would bless the Gentiles in Abraham's seed. That's to our brethren who keep talking about Esau and Gentile will be destroyed. The promise is not that. The promise is he will bless the Gentiles in Abraham's seed. Through Christ, all nations will be blessed.
That he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he will multiply him as the dust of the earth, and shall exalt his seed as the stars. And
so he will exalt his seed as the stars. The stars are above the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's dominion. His children will be redeemed and exalted above all people.
And cause them to inherit from sea to sea.
And cause them what?
To inherit from sea to sea.
It caused them to go to heaven.
Cause them to inherit from sea to sea.
These people is who the earth was made for. This new earth that the Most High talks about, these people is who it was made for. From sea to sea. It's ours. If we want it. It's ours.
And from the river unto the utmost part of the land.
Y'all get that? So is this just the land of Israel or the whole world? Now you see why this is the greatest kept secret. Imagine if our people knew this. That the Most High promised them dominion of the whole world, ownership of the whole world. Like, why would you gangbang and claim a block that you don't own? Why wouldn't you why would you practice righteousness and fight for your soul and for your inheritance? And it's a major programming, y'all. They say that the greatest weapon on earth. Do y'all know what the greatest weapon on earth is? Nuclear bomb or so y'all say? What y'all say? Who? The greatest weapon on earth is not a nuclear bomb, none of that. The greatest weapon on earth is TV. The programming tool. That's the greatest weapon. They have programmed these people to believe in a false reality. Through television, through entertainment, through music. Through this box. See? Physical power is not greater than spiritual. What you eat is what you will become. Right? You are what you eat, right? So they feed you lies, you are a product of lies. And you believe these lies because that's your diet. Yeah, but we've been having a diet of lies all our life. So everything we regurgitate is a lie. So much that we don't even know or even think, have an idea about what the Most High promised these people, because the lie is so strong. There's people that believe that it's not fair for God to promise one people something. Imagine that. You've been a slave for thousands of years, but you're still thinking about equality. When no one on earth is talking about equality but you. Edom. Is Esau talking about equality? Or does a white woman make more than a black woman that do the same job? Or is their children so-called secularly more educated than these brown people. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I go to work into these distribution centers that I drop off loads at, it's 99.4% white people. Like, they are highly employed. They employ their people. They ain't talking about no equality. We ain't enough black people in here, y'all. We gotta get some black people in here. Get it? We're the only people talking about equality because someone told us that. The Bible don't say nothing about equality. The Most High said, I'm gonna separate you from these people. But they told us that it's about equality. Right? Must love everybody. There's nothing wrong with loving people. But there's order. Again, the Most High has said in his promises that these people I have given dominion to. And will get dominion to. So someone has to be over someone. But this, as Abraham was greater than his house was satisfied. He didn't treat his servants bad. He treated them as family. As in our kingdom, we would treat our servants as our family, because truly, that's who they are. They're a family. But we have a higher position as far as order goes. It's like again, in heaven, there's angels with higher order than others. But they all are servants to the Most High. So it don't mean because you have a great position that I am to be arrogant and boastful and mean to someone else who's so-called under me. Right? Well, let's go. We'll get off on a tangent.
Verse 22. With Isaac did he establish likewise.
With who?
Isaac.
Okay. Not Ishmael. Isaac, right? Sarah's son. Okay.
Did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage and divided his portions. Among the 12 tribes did he part them.
Let me read that again. Okay. The Most High made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him inheritance. Today is this month is Black History, right? Black History, right? Are they learning about the history? I mean, of the heritage the Most High gave them?
No.
You see? And divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them. That's what the covenant is with the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Genesis 25. So again, Christianity has this doctrine, this grafted in doctrine, to take your promises, your covenant away, so that you won't believe it exists, that you won't change your life for it. But you won't change your life for it, because you have to change your life to get this promise. It's like in Abraham's house, everybody had to obey. In Christ's house, we all must obey to get our inheritance. Okay.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, starting at verse 21. And it reads, and Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife.
Now Rebekah was barren like Sarah, okay?
Because she was barren. And Ahiah was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High.
Now let's talk about this, right? Rebekah is pregnant with twins. You rarely hear about twins fighting in the womb. But this is prophetic. So it's not racism that exists in this world. It's the fight for dominion. This seed, the firstborn of this woman, was promised dominion. Prophetically, these children are fighting in the womb. Rebecca saying, well, if this is the promised seed, why am I'm in so much pain? Like, this should be a blessing. This is like a curse. She's in a lot of pain. She went to the Most High and prayed to him, right? Let's check out what the Most High tells Rebecca, our mother.
Verse 23. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nationalities are in your womb. 2 nationalities. Try pathetically says. This is about dominion.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
So these 2 people should be separated from birth. You see why they tricked us with Martin Luther King in this what you call that?
Segregation?
No. When you come together.
Segregation? No, integration.
Integration.
Yeah.
The Most High said that these people should be segregated from their birth because they're 2 manner of people. They're totally opposite from one another.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they fooled us with this Martin Luther King movement and brought us together. Well, let's go.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And we know that one people are stronger than the other brother. Okay?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Now here we go. Here's a promise of dominion. The youngest, the second child out of the womb will rule the first. Right? Who came out first?
Esau.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red.
Red. Like a hairy garment. Right? What color is Esau? Is he white or is he red?
Red.
Red. So Most High made a distinction between these children. So we'll know who's who. Esau came out red like my hand. Right?
And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment. And
they're known to be hairy people. Okay? Very hairy.
And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
So after that, Jacob came out, right? Most I don't mention what color he was, right? Because he looked like everybody else. There's other stories in the Bible where twins came out. He mentioned nothing about their color because they look like everybody else on the earth. Okay? I want to read something real quick. Show you that this was prophetic. It was prophecy, right? Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? So when should the end come, right? And when should be the end of the first? What should be the end of the first dominion, of the dominion of the first child? The first child was who? Esau. Well, the Bible promised that Esau will rule in the last days. So the Romans it's the last empire that was promised to Daniel in his dream. Right? It was 7 beasts. The last beast was Rome. So this is the last of Esau's dominion. In the last days, Esau should rule. So Ezra's asking, when would the end of the first child's dominion be? And the beginning of it that followed. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So now the Most High is breaking down what we just read about Jacob and Esau's birth. For Esau is the end of the world. So the end of the world, again, Esau will be ruling. So how do you know who Esau is in our time today? Because they hide their identity. The Most High brings them out on Front Street. In the last days, your brother Esau will be ruling. And he'll be red and hairy. A mighty hunter like his father, who loved bloody meat like his father. The attributes they can't run away from. Okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7 through 10. It goes farther. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So Jacob's kingdom comes after the fall of Esau's. So this is what our people need to hear, because the Bible says that Babylon is fallen. So right now we need to be teaching our people about their kingdom and let them know that it's about to be over. Our kingdom is next. Christ is our king. So that's what that meant. Esau is the kingdom will rule in the last days. Jacob is that followed it. Let's keep going.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 26. And after that came his brother, Salakia, that's right. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
60 years old. So we just read the understanding of what this happened. Genesis chapter 26, verse 1 through 5. We're going back here just to show that the Most High made promises and covenants with these people that were and are forever. Okay?
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 1. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Most High appeared unto him, and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father.
Do you see why they keep us out the Old Testament though? You gotta read from the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell you all the time, start from the beginning. It's telling you everything. What this whole book is about is these promises to these people. That's why they call it the Hebrew records, the Hebrew scrolls, because it's talking about the promises that God made to the people and how he has performed powerful works in the earth and will perform powerful works to fulfill his promises, his covenants to these people. And how the rest of the world want blessings, they must fall in line with these people. Okay? Well, let's go.
And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Again, in your seed, which really is Yasha, all the nations should be blessed. Because
that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
See, that's what it's all about. Right? Because Abraham was faithful. He promised that he would do this wonderful thing through him. See, it's not about us. It's about what our fathers did. Mm-hmm. We just benefit from their righteousness. If we're righteous ourselves. 35. What? 27. 27. Mm-hmm. Verse 26 to 29.
Same book, chapter 27, verses 26.
Now, we read all about these promises in the first book of the Bible. Now, what if you just skipped the first book of the Bible? You missed this. Mm-hmm. So when you read, if all you read New Testament, you get to the grafted in part, you really don't know what they're even talking about. Grafted in the what? What's the significance of this tree? You have to go to the beginning to understand. Right?
Verse 26. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him.
Now, right now, Isaac is about to die. Right? The Most High has promised Rebecca that her second son was the promised child. So the Most High put Rebecca in the right spot at the right time. Right? To prevent the blessings going to the wrong son. Rebecca heard her husband telling Esau, no, I'm wrong. This is Jacob.
No,
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tired. Mine ain't working good today. Esau being up in age.
Isaac. Oh,
Isaac.
yeah.
Isaac being up in age. He's losing his sight. His sight is real dim. He can't really see very well. But he knows he's about to die. And for those who don't know, when our fathers put their hand on that thigh and gave a blessing in the spirit of the Most High, it went down.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham did it, Isaac did it, Jacob did it. It went as so. That was an oath before the Most High. Whatever they promised goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So if Esau would have been there to receive the blessings from Isaac, it would have been to Esau. But the Most High put Rebecca right there at the right time to stop that, because he said through his word that the second son will be the promise, right? And the elder should serve the younger. But let's get what the Most High through Isaac promised Jacob.
And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which Ahiah hath blessed.
Now Esau was known as a man of the field, right? A mighty hunter. Talking about these attributes, okay? Jacob was not a man in the field. Not saying he wouldn't go out and kill to eat, but he was not a man in the field. So it was a different smell between Jacob and Esau. Esau was so hairy that his mother had to put animals' hair on Jacob to disguise him as Esau. Remember it said all over like a hairy garment? Hairy all over red all over like a hairy garment? Mm-hmm. That's hairy. Okay? An animal is hairy. So, and he smelled like the outdoors because he was a mighty hunter. So most of his day he spent out hunting. And his children are still doing that today. Mm-hmm. Right? They have TV shows all about it. You know? They love to be out there looking at the animal just because. You know, trying to study this animal. And that's what Esau spent so much time. He had to study the animals. And, you know, Jacob was more, like I said, a plain man. He wanted to be at the crib with his mama. You know? He was smooth. He had smooth skin. That's what the Bible says. Yeah. But let's go.
Verse 28.
He went out there on the vitreous, messing with no lions and tigers and alligators.
Stingrays.
That stuff. Bet you that. It's like his children today. They ain't thinking about going out there trying to see what the bear is doing. You know. But let's go.
Verse 28. Therefore the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven.
The dew of heaven. Right? The blessings from heaven. Right.
And the fatness of the earth.
Everything on earth belongs to you.
And plenty of corn and wine.
Won't lack for nothing.
Let people.
The earth will produce as she's supposed to produce for you and your children.
Let people serve thee.
Let people what?
Serve thee.
See, there's kingship, dominion coming to this man's children. Let people serve thee. Remember those people that he says that will be blessed through the seed?
Mm-hmm.
Our people don't know that there's rulership promised to them. What's the gospel? The good news of the kingdom. Our people must know about their kingdom, and that's good news. We are slaves right now, thinking that we're from America, and America owes us something. These people who the Bible call our enemy owe us something, owe us equal treatment, owe us justice. The Bible said, separate yourself from these people. Learn your culture and put hope in your God and your promises. Right? He never said, that the enemy would give you anything. Again, he said that they will only oppress you and spoil you. And won't of all things shall you serve them. And they would not regard the gray hair of a man, nor suckling child. So they would have no mercy on you no matter how much you march, shout, scream, pout. You will only be oppressed. And for these 400 some years, we've been only oppressed. No matter how much we cried out, nothing has changed. We should overcome? Right. Hey, someday, that's true.
Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee.
Nations, see? For you to have listen to the blessings. They're missing this. Nations should serve you. So other nationalities should serve you. So in your kingdom, there be other nationalities as servants. Okay? Let's get it.
Be Lord over thy brethren.
And Judah is who the kingship went to, for the tribe. So even the other 11 tribes will serve Judah. For it's evident that our Lord come out of Judah. Right? So the whole world will serve Yahshua.
And let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
And that's why there's judgment. The nations has cursed God's children. God's children has cursed God's children. So whoever cursed these people, whether it be them or someone else, will be judged. If we mistreat our brothers and our sisters, we will be destroyed. Bottom line. That's what the laws are all about. Teaching us how to function around you, how to operate in the spirit. Within the family, even outside of the family. Okay.
The next precept, the book of Genesis, chapter 35, verses 9 through 12. Once again, that's Genesis chapter 35, verses 9 through 12.
So remember, Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of Jacob. Okay? So Abraham is Jacob's grandfather. Our father's grandfather. Okay?
And it reads, verse 9, And the Most High appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him. And the Most High said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name.
Prince of God. What Ayaquah mean? Israel. That's Jacob mean. No, Jacob means supplanter. Yasha'Allah means Prince of God. Yasha'Allah is Israel in Hebrew. Man, I'm telling you, I'm sleepy in my mind, ain't working today. Let's go.
And he called his name Israel. And the Most High said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee.
Read it again.
Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac to thee, I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land.
See, there's a land that was promised for these people, right? And right now, these fake people have gone over there, fought, destroyed for our land that don't belong to them. Like, I was watching something this other day. They're actually real Jews over there. You see that? They promised them to give them $3,500 or go to jail. Yeah, kick them out.
Yeah.
Because the spirit of the Most High is moving so rapidly through the power through the earth. They try to keep it under wraps, and you can't now. So even though our brethren don't know any better, And they're going back home when the Bible says we'll only go back home when Christ leads us. But they're going over there, so now that's causing questions to be asked. And many people are questioning these Jewish people, and they can't prove that they're the people in the Bible. There's no way they can prove people in the Bible because we are. We can prove all day long that we're the people in the Bible. They can't. So they resort to, well, it's the culture. Well, being a Jew is not a culture. It's a nation. Right? We read about this nation. He said, I make a nation out of you. He said, I make a culture out of you. I make a people, a nation out of you.
A bloodline.
A bloodline out of you. So being a Jew means you are from the bloodline, the loins, as the Bible said, of Jacob. They can't prove that. They can go and prove it in Germany and Zaria and all that kind of stuff, but you can't prove that you have nothing to do with what we're reading about right now. So a lot of havoc is going on right now in our land because a lot of our brothers and sisters are returning home. They're reading the scriptures and it says they know that they're going back home, but they're just missing the part that we can't go right now. Our King and our Lord and Savior is going to guide us home. Okay, so let's go.
Clean up first.
Yeah, you got to clean that thing. You got to burn that thing with fire right first before we go clean that, purify that place first. Transform it.
The next precept, the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verses 1 and 2, and 8 through 12. Once again, that's Genesis, chapter 49, starting at verse 1.
Now, Jacob is about to pass, right? He does what his father did, Isaac. Isaac did what his father Abraham did. He called on his children to him to tell them what will become of them in the last days. So we're going to deal with Judah. We're not going to deal with the other 11. He's going to deal with Judah because he said a king should come out of you. The Most High is using Abraham's seed to bring his son Christ through. That's what it's all about. He chose Abraham because he was faithful and righteous to bring his only begotten son to redeem the children of his loins, to redeem what Adam lost. Okay?
The book of Genesis, chapter 49.
To buy back what Adam lost.
In verse 1. And it reads, And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
So the Most High showed Jacob everything, even his son Christ, right? Warring and destroying all the kingdoms of the earth and ruling in peace and harmony and righteousness. Okay?
Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
So Judah will be in the neck of his enemies in the last days. That's why he called it the black and white world. We're right in the neck of our enemies. We're right there. We will make that head turn, tell you the truth. Right, the neck make the head turn, right? Without Judah, what would these white people do? I'm serious with that. What would they do?
Nothing.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, what would they do?
Or what would they have done?
What have they done? They stole everything from Judah, from Israel.
Built this place.
That's what, but what would they do without Judah? So Judah is really what makes the neck turn, even though they're servants. But we're right next to our enemy, right? This is close to the neck, is to the head. We'll be right. So in the last day, we'll be right there. Okay.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet.
So the rulership of the world will come from Judah forever. Right? Who's the promised king of the world?
Yahshua.
Yahshua. As the world called Christ. Right? The Messiah. That's what it's talking about. The scepter will not pass. The kingship will always reside in Judah.
Until Shiloh come.
Who is Christ?
and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
See, unto him shall the gathering of the people be. And who? Other nations are claiming to serve who? Christ. Right? This Israelite king, fulfilling prophecy. Other nations be gathered into Christ. Not just Israel. Now let's get back to, no, we're going to go 8 to 12. Are we doing that? Go ahead.
Verse 11, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. He washed his garment in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
So when he comes back, remember, who was that in Basra, right? His garment used to be white, now it's bloody like he was in the wine vat. When Yahshua come back, he's destroying all the wicked. His garment would be as he was in the wine vat. Okay?
His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Now, many people read the scriptures and say that when it says his eyes should be red with wine, like he's a drunkard, right? It said he'd be, the precept tells you that he'd be wounded in much sorrow, right? When he came, he was wounded in much sorrow for his people. So when you're crying, when you're in sorrow, your eyes are red. You know, like you said, it was like blood was coming out of his eyes when he was crying. It has nothing to do with him being he wasn't a drunkard, okay? But he'd be in much sorrow. Remember, he wore our sorrow, you know, on the cross or on the stake, right? What'd you say?
That's what I was thinking when I was just reading. I'm like,
Nah, man.
Like coming back tipsy or something.
Right.
Come on.
No, man. No, he carried much sorrow in his heart for his people, for his children. Yeah.
The white teeth.
Hmm?
The white teeth.
No, I don't know what the white teeth means, but because he had clean teeth. I don't know. He drinks goat's milk, huh?
The next precept, the book of Romans, chapter 11, verses 1 through 17.
Now let's break this thing down. I just wanted to know through the Spirit just go, for those in the audience, you know, to understand when they said you're grafted into this tree, like, what are they talking about? You must understand what the origin of the tree. This tree has a covenant. The tree are the people. You know what I'm saying? This represents a people that has a covenant with the creator of all things. And he said that his covenant was forevermore, forever. So you can't, as Paul says, boast against the natural branches. To accept your salvation in fear. Be thankful. But don't boast and say that they was cut off and you taking their place. And then you lie to them and keep them from their promises and their God. So let's go. Just break this whole thing down. Let's go.
The book of Romans 11, chapter 1. It's like the book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 1. And it reads, I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people?
So, are what they teaching us today true? They say that, you know, when it says that Christ came for his own and the people, you know, that there was no one that believed him. He had disciples, right? They made the disciples, right? So the whole nation didn't believe Christ, but he had disciples. And disciples made disciples. So there was some that believed who make up this righteous tree. But let's go.
I
For God
say
cast
then,
away his people.
God forbid.
No.
For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin.
That's living proof that God did not cast away his people. Paul said, I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. God forbid. No, he did not cast away his people.
God hath not cast away his people which he foreknew. Wot ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel?
Check it out. Elijah thought that he was the only prophet left. I was talking about this last night, I think. Jezebel. Elijah had destroyed like 400 of these false prophets of Jezebel who served Satan, Baal, right? Because they could they couldn't do what they said that their God was promised them that he was going to do. The whole nation believed that these were righteous preachers. I mean, prophets. And Elijah was basically mocking them because he was just like really just taunting them like, hey, it's been like 12 hours, man. You God ain't answered you yet, you know. And then he told them to put wood on the altar, put water over it. He said, no, add some more water. 3 times, add some more water. He prayed to Most High. Most High came and did this thing, right? Showed that he was with his prophet Elijah. After Elijah destroyed the priest of Baal or Satan, Jezebel was angry and promised that before tomorrow night that Elijah will be dead. Like, so Elijah felt like he was the only righteous one left, right? So he's doing the work of the Most High, and we gotta be mindful of Elijah because we so used to looking at these big churches and that kind of stuff, and then people think that God is with these people because they had numbers. It's always been little remnants, right? And the Most High was showing Elijah that, and he had always showed us that. So check this out.
Wot ye not what the scripture said of Elias?
Understand not what the scripture says about Elias, which is Elijah.
How he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets, and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone.
So he's saying Israel is straight wicked. All right? They killed all your prophets. They're trying to kill me. They dug up your altars, man. These people are wicked. I'm the only one left. He's like, just kill me, man. I've done all you asked me to do. Just kill me. I don't want these wicked people to kill me. You take me out. Right? But he's going against Israel. Like, man, these people are straight wicked. You're right. They're rebellious, stiff-necked, stony-hearted. Let's go.
And they seek my life. But what saith the answer?
It's like Abraham's own countrymen, own family seek his life. Mm-hmm. All the other prophets seek, their own people seek their life. Christ's people, same people, seek his life. Mm-hmm. There's nothing new in the Son. Anyone that's righteous, this world, who has our people in bondage, Satan, who has our people in bondage, will seek our life. Right?
Mm-hmm. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men.
Even though Elijah can't see these men, the Most High said, hold tight. Keep going to work. I got 7,000 who have not bowed down the knee to Satan. You don't see them. They're working just like you, my son. Okay? So we may not see them, but they're Most High got them out here working. So we got to continue to be in this work. Okay?
Okay.
Remember, we must be a vessel meet for service. Okay?
I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then, at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
So the Most High has preserved a remnant according to the election of grace. So these ain't men who the Most High chose because, they followed the letter of the law to the T, because they were sacrificing animals. It's because they believed in the Most High and they served Him faithfully. So He gave them grace. He showed them favor. Right? It wasn't because they had on the fringes and the meat trees and all that stuff. No, they believed the Most High like Abraham, and they walked before Him, put their life on the line every day for the Most High.
Verse 6, and if by grace, then is it no more of works.
So it's saying, if it's of grace, it's not of works anymore, because right now at this time, our people still believe it's of works. Sacrifice of animals and all that stuff. Christ has already come and gone. He was the sacrifice. So the law did not die, but the law of sacrifice did, because Christ had become our Passover. Right? Grace has abounded because before Christ, under the so-called Mosaic law, an idolater or homosexual had no repentance. It was a wrap for you. If you got caught in your act, you got destroyed. But now the Most High has given grace, not saying that He giving you the opportunity to sin, but He has given the ability for all men to come to repentance. And in the end, on the consummation of time, consummation of sin, Christ will destroy you. No longer would your brother be able to destroy you because of your ignorance or because of your sin. Right?
Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for.
See, Israel has not obtained what he seeketh for. Israel seeketh redemption. Israel seeketh salvation, their kingdom back. But they think it's of the works. It's of the faith of Christ. Right? But the election have found it. Right? It says, what then? Israel have not obtained what he seeketh for, but the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded. So when Yasha came, those true servants, disciples of Christ, recognized that this was the man that we could listen to and believe in and follow what he said. But the rest of the world became blind because they rejected Christ. You get it?
Verse 8. According as it is written, the Most High hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day.
Because of their hard-headedness, they stick-necked, they rebellious spirit. Right?
And David said, let their table be made a snare.
Is the table not a snare today? What do our people boast in? Money. Right? It become a snare to you. I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? It become a snare to you. Suppose you chasing the Most High, you're chasing money. It became a snare to you. So go ahead.
And a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always.
And be a servant always. That's what David prayed for these people. Saying Israel is no joke. There's no people on the earth like Israel. Right? They got a concrete block for a heart. You know?
Verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid.
So even though Israel is what it is, have they stumbled and failed that they can't get up? God forbid.
But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
So because Israel failed, rejected the Most High, right? Salvation has come to the Gentiles.
For to provoke them to jealousy.
To provoke Israel to jealousy. And has it not? Are we not jealous of the possessions of the nations?
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles.
Because we failed, the Most High gave them our resources. Which was, now they have the riches of the world. Right? Dominion.
How much more their fullness?
So, wait. Paul is saying, if the fall of them gave you the riches of the world, what do you think if they come back, the Most High going to do for them and give them? His chosen people. If he gave you the riches of the world, how much more the fullness of them? If they come back.
For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles.
And Paul is not speaking to the other 10 tribes. He's talking to natural-blooded Gentiles. Not the lost 10 tribes of Israel. People say that he's talking to Israelites who don't know the Israelites. No, he's talking to Gentiles right now. Okay, let's go.
I magnify mine office.
He magnifies office because Yahshua put him as a steward, an apostle over the Gentiles. So he knows what he's talking about and who he's talking to.
If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh.
See, now he's talking about them of his flesh. If he can provoke them of his flesh, right?
And might save some of them.
To save some of them.
For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be?
Let's check it out. When we read this right here, it says, for if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world. Can anyone tell me in the scriptures where the Most High ever had his children together with the Gentiles? Because to be reconciled means you must be like brought back, right? So it's not talking about the whole world. Because the Most High is the one who took us from the nations. So it's talking about the reconciling of Israel. If the casting away, the hard bondage that the Most High had put Israel in, was to teach them a lesson, to provoke them to jealousy of the nations and realize that one day that they got our stuff. This is why we're suffering, because we forsook our God. So he turned his back on us. So if we recognize the true meaning of what we're going through and who we are, this world will be reconciled through Christ. That's the premise of Christ coming, to redeem and reconcile his people. Right? Because all I know is like when I found out who I was, you found out who you was. It's reconciling his people. It's bringing his people back. And we look forward to seeing our other brothers and our sisters. Mm-hmm. It's bringing Israel back. This is the whole premise of this. Chastisement.
For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
Life from the dead. The reviving of his people. See, we're the valley of dry bones, right? Mm-hmm. The reviving of his people.
For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy.
But Christ is the first fruit, right? He's holy. Dealing with this tree now, right? Mm-hmm. Check this out. So this tree exists. It's not replaced. We was mentioning this last week. Get it?
So are the and if the root be holy, so are the branches.
No, for if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. Mm-hmm. And if the root be holy, which is the Most High, so are the branches. So this tree exists and it's righteous. Mm-hmm. These are the true disciples of Christ who make up this tree. But, verse 17.
And if some of the branches be broken off.
See, not all the branches. If some of the branches. The tree stands as righteous. That bear the root. They serve and believe in the Most High. And Yahshua. But if some of the branches be broken off.
And thou, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root.
Now this is going back to the promise of Abraham, right? Mm-hmm. It says, and thee being a wild olive tree, meaning you straight lawless and wicked, right? But you believed in Christ, changed your life, followed your laws and commandments, got baptized, right? And with them, with the Israelites, are partakers of God, which is the root, and the fatness of the olive tree. So many of the blessings that come with this tree, with these people. Right? Because you're among them. You hadn't replaced them, but you're among them. So you're among them, you get blessed too. Right? 18. Here's the warning.
Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
So that's the warning.
You're going to get Amos.
I messed it up.
The next precept.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Amos chapter 9, verse 12. Showing that this is prophecy that the Most High will gather some of the Gentiles. I had him on the button for a long time.
There we go.
So 11. You got 11 and 12. This is Mosiah prophesying, establishing his covenant and promises with Abraham to Jacob's children.
The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen.
Now David was the first king of Judah, right? So kings came out of Sarah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kings came out of Jacob.
And close up the breaches thereof. And
So Solomon, David's son, fell. Caused a breach between the nations. So the Most High divided us in the northern kingdom, where we had 10 tribes. In the southern kingdom, we had 2, but the Levites came and joined us afterwards. Right? So when the Most High said that he would close that up and bring us back as one nation.
And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom.
Who?
The remnant of Edom.
So the Israelites will possess the remnant of Edom. And these are the white folks that our brethren is saying will be destroyed. How can you possess something that's destroyed?
Mm.
This has not happened yet. The elder has not served the younger yet. So when the Most High said that he would beautify the place that he put his feet at, he says that in the day that I will raise up the tabernacle of David, the kingdom that is fallen. The kingdom right now is fall. It fell a long time ago. We ain't been kings in so long. We became madness ourselves being kings and queens, right? And close up the breaches thereof. I will raise up his ruins. And I will build it as in the days of old. It was beautiful. There was no place on earth like Zion. That the Israelites, they may possess the remnant, so some of the Edomites survived. And check this out. Not only the Edomites, the white people, guess what? And all the heathens. So there's other nations outside the white people that will make it in the kingdom. Go ahead.
Which are called by my name, said the Most High.
Read to verse
the
15.
High, that doeth this. Behold, the days come, said the High, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel.
So he has brought back the captivity of his people Israel. He has sent the Spirit in the world to inform us who we are, who he is, why we in captivity. Bring the things back to mind which was lost, which was hidden from us. Okay?
And they shall build the waste cities, and inhabit them, and drink the wine thereof.
Oh wait, we drink wine? I thought we can't drink wine. Oh, okay. I was trying to make sure.
They shall also make gardens, and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, And they
on their land, on the Israelites, right?
And they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them, said Ahiah thy God.
See, this is fulfilling the promises he made to Abraham, right? Now let's go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 9 through 11. See, how you break down the whole grafted in doctrine, it's prophecy. The prophecy is still dealing with the Israelites. And we're going to get to the Gentiles in a minute again too. But the Bible said that they will be blessed. Like how we said last week in the class. Is living eternally in a righteous kingdom a blessing? It's never feeling pain again a blessing. It's never dying, no crying a blessing. The things that men research so hard to do that they cannot do, the Most High promised to do them. Man won't live forever. He's going to allow you to live forever if you're righteous and you serve him. That's a blessing. Blessing that you can't even come up with. I mean, man can't promise man that. The Most High can. So that's a blessing. You don't have to be a king to have a blessing. That's what the Most High is saying. I will bless you. In your seed, through Christ, all nations will be blessed. Let's go.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, starting at verse 9. For Ahiah's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Who?
Jacob.
Jacob. Not the whole world. Jacob is his inheritance.
He found him in the desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So Ahiah alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth.
See, the Most High kept his promise. Right?
That he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with the fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
So we had the best of everything. The Most High promised Abraham that his children would be blessed, right? So, because Jacob and the patriarch fathers, the 12 sons of Jacob, was righteous, they were blessed. They had everything, right? It was their children that went bad. But the Most High kept his promise, right? His promise still exists forever. Any of these children that turns to the Most High and serve him will be blessed and receive the eternal promises, right? So, but what happened to Israel? Jeshurun is another word for Jerusalem, right?
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat.
The children waxed fat. Forgot the God of their fathers. Okay? Enjoy the benefits of their father's labor, but they waxed fat and forgot a sure higher.
Thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They proved him to jealousy with strange gods.
They provoked the Most High to jealousy with strange gods. The children of the patriarchal fathers, I mean the 12 sons of Jacob, right? Their children provoked the Most High to anger because they didn't follow what the God of their fathers said. They went and mingled with the nations and started serving the nations' gods.
With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God.
So the gods the nation serves are devils, fallen angels.
To gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came up newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
See, their fathers, in Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 sons, they did not fear or serve these strange gods. They served the Most High, God Almighty.
Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten the Most High that formed thee. And when Ahiah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters.
And see, this same thing goes on today. Right now, the Most High's children still provoke him to anger, and he abhorred them. But they think that they're serving him. But the ways of our people today are the ways of the nations. The gods that our people are serving is Satan. But in their mind, they believe that they're serving the Most High, and they're not. They don't even know the Most High, nor his son. But let's go.
Verse 20, and he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be.
He said, I will hide my face from them. If your father hides his face from you, woe unto you. Right? So we've been without a God forever. He said, I will hide my face. So if the Most High is hiding his face, that means when you're praying to him, he's not listening. Right? Not saying that he ain't dealing with individuals as they deal with them, but as a nation, you're going to stay in captivity. Mm-hmm. You're going to fulfill prophecy. You will only be oppressed, spoiled, destroyed. Right? He may save from this situation, save that situation, but as a nation, you're not coming up. Okay?
I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation. Children,
a very perverse generation.
Children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
See, we read this in Romans, right? Mm-hmm. Now, these are the branches that were cut off. These are the branches that was cut off. This is the behavior of the people that was cut off. He said, I will move you to jealousy. You provoke me to anger with that which not a God. I will put a foolish nation above you, which are not a people. Okay?
I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
And has he not done that? Mm-hmm. Romans chapter 11, verse 12 to 15.
I think we already got that.
Go back to it.
Okay.
It says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, right? That's what it means. He said, I will give these people what you have. He called you to anger and jealousy like you done me.
And the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them.
See? The whole point of the gospel.
For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
Mm-hmm. The resurrection. So it says, for if the casting away, Most High said he was hiding his face from us. Mm-hmm. He cast us away because of what we just read. And we're still in the same operation. The same spirit is operating in his people right now today.
The next precept, the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17.
Now it talks about those that will come back. It says if those will by not still in unbelief, right? Which we will get to next. hold Isaiah 45:17. Let's get Romans 11 first. 16 to 27. So really what we're trying to prove is that God has not cast away his people and replaced them with the Gentiles. He has made promises, covenants with these people that he said would be forever. But he did promise the Gentiles that he would bless them. But the covenant goes to Jacob. The promises go to Jacob.
Romans chapter 11, verse 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them.
Again, let's emphasize that you're grafted in among the Israelites. You were not grafted in instead of the Israelites. You're grafted in among them.
And with them partakest of the root.
So you will be blessed by the Most High.
And fatness of the olive tree. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
That's a warning to the Gentiles, not to have this mentality. Boast not against the natural branches, and say that he cut them off to put you in, but to be thankful that Most High showed you grace and mercy, and serve him in fear and trembling.
Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off.
See, that's why they was broken off, because they did not believe as their fathers did.
And thou standest by faith.
And you believed, so you stand grafted in among them because of your faith. But check this out, though.
Be not high-minded,
Be not prideful,
but fear.
but fear.
For if the Most High spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee.
Get that? If he spared not his own children for unbelief and being high-minded, don't forget what will come to you.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity
So
of the
take
Most High.
heed to the goodness and the severity of the Most High. Learn from the people that you say you have replaced. Look at the severity. Look at the severity of the condition that their God put them in for unbelief. And look at the goodness he showed you, who was a wicked, lawless people. He showed mercy, grace with you. Allowed you to be grafted in among his children. But he didn't have to. But learn from who this God that you're claiming you're serving is.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you make the kind of decision with a pure heart and in sincerity to serve him, he's that good. He brought you in when you were going to be destroyed. That's good. But he's a God that loves judgment. So if his own children don't believe and operate accordingly, look at us. We went from being on top, being the head, to the tail.
Mm-hmm.
As an example of how true the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is. Everything he said came to pass. He gave you the riches of the world, which are nothing compared to the glory of the kingdom. But in this life, it is. But boast not. Tell those brown people who they are, who their God is. Remember, he promised Abraham that he would bless him that blessed his seed, and curse thee who curses his seed. So you have to reject the devils, these demons that your fathers have lied to you and tricked you to serve. And help the Israelites out. Inform them of who they are. Give them research. Show them that they are the chosen people. That's your job. To bless his children. Not to boast against them and continue in your father's lies. But cleave to these people. Learn from these people. Denounce your God and serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in spirit and truth.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of God on them which fell, severity, but toward thee, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
So he said, if you continue. And that goes for both of us.
And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in.
See, and there's many who continue not in unbelief, who are being grafted back into their own tree. So you did not replace us. I'm not boasting, I'm just telling you the facts.
For God is able to graft them in again. For if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
This is called time of the Gentiles, right? During this time, Israel, during the rulership of the Gentiles, Israel will be blinded. But there'll be a remnant of those who will not be. When their time is up, there will never again be an ignorant Israelite, nor person on this earth. For all will be taught by the Most High. Okay?
And so all Israel shall be saved.
It's not talking about all Israelites, all the obedient sons of the Most High. Because it says you are obedient and then you are a son of Abraham. Because you are from the stock of Abraham don't make you a child of the Most High. It's only those that are obedient. He gave y'all 1,750 years to serve, for us to serve y'all. And your time is up.
As it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins.
He's doing that right now. The deliverer is Yahshua. Okay?
Isaiah 45.
Isaiah 45:17. This is prophecy, right? Showing you that, hey, what the Most High promised to our father Abraham, Isaac, and our father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, no one can take it away from us but ourselves.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse...
In verse 17, and this ties into that reconciling of the world, okay?
But Israel shall be saved in Ahiah with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded, world without end.
See, this is the world that it says that will be reconciled. It would be it would not, we would not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. The Most High sees us as this world, fulfilling His will, His purpose for us. Without, I'm telling you, without these people, we are peculiar people. But the Most High see this word without end, this unashamed, this word that's not confounded of righteous servants from the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what he sees. Okay?
The next precept, the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 6 through 13. The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, starting at verse 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
Now, a lot of people read the scripture and think it's talking about the law being faultless. It's not talking about the law at all. It's talking about the people. Right?
8. For finding fault with them.
Fault with who?
Them.
The law. Them.
He saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Higher, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Wait. So this ain't a covenant with the whole world?
No.
So he said the days come when I make a new covenant with the house of Israel and Judah. And this has not come yet. Okay? Let's go.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of bondage, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Higher. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Higher. I will put my law into their mind, and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
Now, this has not happened yet. Many people proclaim that it has, but it has not. Okay? So, the Gentiles are grafted in among us, but he still says after this, he will make a new covenant with us, right? He put his laws in our minds and our hearts. So right now, the laws are not in our minds and our heart. Because check out what happens when this is so. Right? Because it says, until the fullness of the Gentiles come in, right? So he gave them, like he said, 1,750 years to rule over us. So when their time of rulership is up, check it out.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor.
Do we teach every man's neighbor right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. We're doing it right now. We teach every man his brother, every man his sister, right now. But when this new covenant happens, we won't teach anyone about who the Most High is anymore. Okay?
And every man his brother, saying, Know Ahiah, for all shall know me.
See, all should know him then.
From the least to the greatest.
So there be no need for us to talk, teach, go ahead and teaching this stuff. From the least to the greatest, all will know the Most High.
For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he said, a new covenant, he that hath made the first old, now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
Let's go to
Jeremiah 31.
Jeremiah 31, 35 to 37.
Once again, that's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verses 35 through 37.
This is why it's very important to understand your promises, right? But no one can take them from you.
And it reads, Thus said the Most High, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the seas when the waves thereof roar. Ahiah, the Lord of hosts, is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, said the Ahiah, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Say that again now. See, the Most High saying, if you look outside and the sun, the moon, and stars ain't doing what they're supposed to do, then will the promises that I made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and concerning their seed, will end. And what else?
37. Thus said Ahiah, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Ahiah.
But he said before that he showed mercy to us, right? Because this cannot be accomplished. Man trying right now, they are in the ocean trying to measure it, trying to get the most, they're trying to get the Most High to break his promise. They are trying to say they in space, they can't even get out there, but they try all they can do to stop this promise.
Wow.
So there's nothing that can prevent the Most High's word to his children. So there's, because some had unbelief, don't mean all. So therefore, like he said, I have preserved a remnant for myself throughout all generations. So Israel, the covenant is forever. Don't listen to these people. Listen to what we're about to read to you. Next.
The book of Micah, chapter 4, verses 1 through 7.
To show you that this is prophecy that has not been fulfilled yet, right? I read it. Y'all there? So this is prophecy that's right around the corner, y'all. Okay? It says, but in the last days it should come to pass. So in the last days, we're in the last days right now. It's guaranteed to go down. It's guaranteed to happen. That the mountains of the mountain of the house of Ahiah should be established. So the kingdom of the Most High shall be established in the top of the mountains. And it should be exalted above the hills. And people should flow unto it. And many nations shall come. Get that? We're talking about the kingdom of the Most High. The kingdom that he established his son Christ in. He says many nations, many nationalities will come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob. See, this is the remnant of Edom and the other Gentiles, the heathens, who recognize this, put down the satanic ways and beliefs, and made a conscious decision to go against their families and serve the Most High. Listen to what they say. And many nations shall come and say, come, and let us go up to the mountain, or to the mountain of Ahiah, and to the house of the God of Jacob. So they recognize that the Most High is the God of Israel. So you can't go to your white churches and learn it from a white pastor and get the truth. Nor can you go to a black church and listen to your black pastor whose doctrine comes from your enemy, Esau, from their theologian colleges and all that stuff. You can't get it from them. The Most High is the God of Jacob. But these people have recognized what I just told you. They humbled themselves and said, let us come up to the house of God of Jacob. not the whole world. And he will teach us of his ways. See, we've been lied to our whole life. But he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. See, that's what the remnant of the Gentiles must do. Be taught by Jacob and walk in the God of Jacob's ways. And walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion. This is the kingdom. Yahshua will teach us all things. And the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. And he should judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they should beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation should not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So, how are these fake Jewish so-called people the people? Because y'all said that in 1948, this was established. Nation is still fighting against nation, and y'all are the ones who sponsoring both sides and provoking it. So how are y'all the people? You don't fit prophecy. Let me keep reading prophecy to you. Prophecy says, when his children come back home in their own land, that they should sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none should make them afraid. Is that going on right now in the land y'all call Israel? For the mouth of Ahijah, the Lord of hosts, has spoken it. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God. And we will walk in the name of Ahijah, our God, forever and ever. In that day, says Ahijah, will I assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out. Talking about Israel. And her that I have afflicted. He put us in captivity, put us in servitude, put us in strong bondage, hard bondage. And I will make her that halted a remnant. See, only a remnant of Israel will be saved, not all Israel. And her that was cast far off a strong nation. See, we're coming back. And Ahijah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever. Now write these precepts down and read them in your own time. And take them to your pastors and ask them about it. See what they come up with. But this is prophecy of the words of the Most High Ahijah himself.
The next precept, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, verses 21 through 29.
Let me read these. Some of them. Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 21. Come when you're there. You want to do that?
So I guess to 29.
39.
Yep. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, and verse 21. And I will set my glory among the heathen.
So he will set his glory among the heathen. So the heathen will be amongst us.
And all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am Ahijah their God from that day and forward.
See, the whole earth is going to see the Most High show out. Just like he showed out in Egypt, he's going to do it again. And the whole earth will see it. And know that Israel is his chosen people. And like it's written, like Christ says, and they will know that he has loved us. And Gentiles will recognize that and join us. Those who are obedient.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity.
See there? They will know that. Like, we ill-treated these people. We thought they was this. We thought they was that. We was lied to. They went into captivity. They was in the situation they was in because of their disobedience. The heathen will recognize this when the Most High put down his judgment.
Because they trespassed against me, therefore hid I my face from them.
So he didn't protect us from y'all. He allowed us to be ill-treated, destroyed, murdered in the streets, shot down by police officers for nothing.
And gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
See?
According to their uncleanliness, and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus said Ahiah, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name. After that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses, whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Ahiah their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith Ahiah, God.
Prophecy.
The next precept, Ezekiel chapter 34, starting at verse 11. The book of Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 11. For thus saith Ahiah, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people, and gather them from the countries, and will bring them into their own land, and feed them upon the mountains of Israel, by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places by the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountain of Israel. I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, said Ahiah. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and I will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick, and I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment. And as for you, O my flock, thus said Ahiah, behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between the rams and the he-goats. Seemeth it a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but ye must tread down with your feet the residue of your pastures, and to have drunk of the deep waters, but ye must follow the residue with your feet. And as for my flock, they eat that which ye have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which ye have fouled with your feet. Therefore, thus said Ahiah.
Is that not true? Right? Even this book, we eat what they gave us. Right? They tried it down. They haven't given us all our records. But like I say all the time, what Most High has preserved for us to have is sufficient. It suffices for us to get life. It's just not enough information to bring us back and to want to serve our God. Put down the heathen ways, the heathenistic ways, and serve our God. So we have enough. We don't need the hundreds of records to learn who Christ is and who the Most High is to get our kingdom, get our promise. Right? And they eat all the good food, and they give us the food that we're not supposed to eat, the worst of it. Okay, they're the fat and the strong. He said he had judgment for them though. So let's go.
Therefore, thus said Ahiah unto them, Behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean cattle, because ye have thrust with side and with shoulder, and pushed all the diseased with your horns, till ye have scattered them abroad. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them.
He's not talking about cattle, he's talking about people. Okay.
And he shall feed them, even my servant David.
Which is Yasha. He's not talking about David. No, Yasha.
He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, Ahiah, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, Ahiah, have spoken it.
So Yasha will be among us, ruling.
And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness, and sleep in the woods. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in his season. There shall be showers of blessings. And the tree of the field which yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. And they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am Ahiah, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them.
See, all the nations serve themselves of us. Every nation serve themselves of us. Right? Every nation that around here, they got stores, they got businesses that's taking advantage of us, making a living off of us, making themselves rich off of us. Right? But that's going to stop.
And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour.
Wait. So I thought all of us was God's children, like we're all spiritual Israel. Why is the Most High still calling them Jacob and other people heathen? See, even in the kingdom, there's Israel and Gentiles. There was no name change. He's still calling people heathens. Even those who said, no, let us learn of the God of Jacob and follow his ways. He's still making a distinction between his children and other people. Even though they're righteous, they're still heathens. They're not of the seed of Jacob. The covenants are not with the heathen.
And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid.
Wait. Are the Jewish people, let me ask this again, are the Jewish people experiencing this right now? See, it shows that they're not the people. How you prove who's a Jew and who's not is the Bible. It never said that a culture, I said earlier, makes you an Israelite. It's the sperma of Israel that makes you an Israelite. The seed of Jacob.
And I will raise up for them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen any more. Thus shall they know that I am Ahiah their God, that I, Ahiah their God, am with them, and that
with who?
With them.
With them. Israel.
And that they, even the house of Israel,
see, are my people. This is after. Get it? This is when we're at peace. After everything that goes down in America, the tribulations, the trial tribulations, the Most High still has a people.
even the house of Israel are my people, saith Ahiah, and ye my flock, The flock of my pasture are men, and I am your God, saith Ahiah.
So the Most High said, he's not saying that all his flock is men. He was talking about animals before this. He's like, no, the flock that I'm talking about are men. Mankind. From the stock of Jacob. My people. Okay? 43 in Ezekiel. Right? Verse 5. Verse 5 to 12. We're just going over some of the promises that the Most High promised us that have not been fulfilled yet, that are soon to come. So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of Ahiah filled the house. And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house, and the man stood by me. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. So the Most High is showing Ezekiel the kingdom. He said he will dwell amongst the who? The children of Israel. It don't say spiritual Israelites. It said he will dwell amongst the children of Israel forever. In the holy name, in my holy name, shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they nor their kings, by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in the high places. In their setting of their threshold, by my thresholds, and their posts by my posts, and the walls between me and them. They have even defiled my holy name by their abominations that they have committed. Wherefore I have consumed them in my anger. Now let them put away their whoredom and the carcasses of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in the midst of them forever. Thou son of man, show the house to the house of Israel, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and let them measure the pattern. And if they be ashamed of all that they have done, show them the form of the house, the fashion thereof, and the goings out thereof, and the comings in thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the laws thereof, and write in their sight, that they may keep the whole form thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and do them. This is the law of the house. Y'all know I've been talking about the Most High house rules? This is the law of the house. Upon the top of the mountain, the whole limit thereof round about shall be the most holy. Behold, this is the law of the house. Right? In his kingdom, these laws are the law of the house. The law of the family. The law of the kingdom.
Next precept, Ezekiel chapter 47, verses 22 through 23.
Now, check this out. See, our brethren, they skip this when they deal with the Gentile. Okay? This goes to show you what he was talking about when he said the heathen would be among us, right? They were grafted in among us. Now check it out. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lots. Talking about our land. For an inheritance unto you. And to the strangers, not the 10 tribes of Israel. These are Gentiles. And to the strangers that sojourn among you. Read it again. And to the strangers or Gentiles or heathen that sojourn among you, which shall begat children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. See, this is what it's talking about, y'all, when it says grafted in. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. So it's not saying that they would have our inheritance, but they should have inheritance too. Like, they having children. Don't they need land for their children to grow up in? So they have, the Most High gonna give, He gonna bless them. Remember, they would bear the root. He's gonna bless them too. They're not taking the promises. Check it out. And it should come to pass that in what tribe the stranger shall join, there shall ye give him his inheritance, says the Most High. Right? Now, I'm going to go a little farther to show you that it's not talking about the Gentiles taking our land, right? It says, verse 148. Now, these are the names of the tribes. It goes down to the whole thing. From the north end to the coast of the way of Hethlon, as one goeth to Hamath, Hazarnan, the border of Damascus, northward to the coast of Hamath. For these are his sides, east and west, a portion for Dan. Right? So Dan will have Gentile handmaids and what's called handmaidens. And they will have land that Dan will distribute to them. But they will serve Dan. Right? It goes down to all 12 tribes, right? Now let's go farther to prove what I'm saying. This is what they're not teaching. Where we at now? 48?
You're 48:29.
48:29. This is the land which ye should divide by lots unto the tribes of Israel for inheritance. See, this is different, right? And these are their portions, says the Most High. And these are the goings out of the city on the north side, 4,500 measures. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel. That sound familiar? They'll read that in Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
See where it came from? It says at the end of that gate, it must have a name. Right? It was 12 gates. And it says, verse 31, and the gates of the city should be after the names of the tribes of Israel, not of the Gentiles. These ain't spiritual Israelites again. 3 gates northward, 1 gate of Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi. And at the east side, 4,500, and 3 gates, and 1 gate of Joseph, 1 gate of Benjamin, 1 gate of Dan. And at the south side, 4,500 measures, and 3 gates, 1 gate of Simeon, 1 gate of Issachar, 1 gate of Zebulun, and at the west side, 4,500, which with their 3 gates, 1 gate of Gad, 1 gate of Asher, 1 gate of Naphtali. Right? It was round about 18,000 measures, and the name of the city from that day shall be Ahiah is there. So, to have a kingdom, you must have servants. We better get there though, right now. Isaiah 14, verse 1. To show you how blessed these people will be. The Most High has given them land, everything, but not our land. It's like right now, we get little houses and a little yard where we go, but we still go to work. The same thing with them. They would go to their own respective areas, but they will serve us. Verse 1. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 through 8. For Ahiah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them. See there? Here we go again. They're not all destroyed. The Gentile shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So proving that this is not this ain't the northern kingdom. These are Gentiles in our kingdom. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. See, to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Ahiah for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it should come to pass in the day that Ahiah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. That thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Ahiah has broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he hath ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hinder. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedar of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us. Right? So, you see how the Gentiles are still among us as servants and handmaids? And there's peace now. The whole world is at rest. No one's, what's going on, deforestation, ain't none of that going on. Right? Even the land is benefiting from the righteous kingdom. But since y'all had come back, no fellow had come against us. Everybody's at peace, even the trees. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 60, verse 9. No, Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9 to 21. Last two precepts. I'm just reading these promises, man, because it's very important to know our promises. You know? Because it's showing you the difference between the Israelites and the heathen. Right? Even though, like it says, the Most High in this kingdom is fulfilling his word to Abraham. In your seed, all nations shall be blessed. And it's showing you that they'll be blessed. Isaiah 60 verse 9 reads, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, talking about Christ, their silver and their gold with them. This is the forces of the Gentiles. Unto the name of Ahiah thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. If they were all destroyed, who are you talking about? The sons of strangers will build up your walls, and their kings shall minister unto you. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor, in my grace, have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that shall not serve thee shall perish. Yet those nations, those people, those nationalities who will not serve the Israelites and the Yahshua shall be utterly wasted. See, this promise is the Most High. God has not cast away his people nor his promises. He promised Abraham that kings will come out of his loins. Right? We're reading about it. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. See, these are the people that said, let us come to the house, the 13. The glory of Lebanon, 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee. The fir tree, the pine tree, the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. He will use the heathen to make his place glorious. It's like we built every nation. Well, they're gonna get put to work too. But this is not a bad thing. If you don't do this, where are you? Destroyed in hell. So this you're building the kingdom for the God who saved you. This is not a bad thing, people. Let the pride go. Enjoy it. Be thankful. Your kingdom is gone. It's on the last leg standing. And the wind blowing strong. So, 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. See, these are the people that, remember it says that they would cleave to Jacob after they found out the truth. And Most High started to show out, they coming. bending. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they should call thee the city of Ahiah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellence, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, be nourished by them. And thou shalt know that I am Ahiah, I Ahiah am thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stone iron I will also make thy office peace, and thy exactors righteousness. Violence should no more be in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. This is a glorious place to desire to be. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. 1:2. The sun should be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But Ahiah shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, neither shall the moon withdraw itself. For Ahiah shall be thy everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also should be all righteous, and they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. 61, 1-12. The spirit of Ahiah is upon me, because Ahiah has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He that sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. This is Yasha talking. Okay? To proclaim the acceptable year of Ahiah, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garments of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Ahiah, that he may be glorified. And they should build the old oasis. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers, Gentiles, shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the aliens, or Gentiles, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye should be named the priests of the Most High. Men shall call you the ministers of God. Ye should eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory ye shall boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, Ahiah, loveth judgment. I hate robbery, burnt offerings. And I will direct their work in truth. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them. And they are the seed which Ahiah has blessed. Fulfilling the promise to Abraham. Verse 10. And I will greatly rejoice in Ahiah. My soul shall be joyful in my God. This is Joshua again talking, y'all. For he has clothed me with the garment of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom deck himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorn herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown into it spring forth, so Ahiah will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. So, that's a little capture, a recap this is the fulfillment of what he promised to our father Abraham, our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And in the end, that was Christ prophetically speaking about God's kingdom and how he would use him to bring forth his kingdom. That all people in our kingdom would be righteous, and this to kill that grafted in stuff, taking over, the cast away God's people and the Gentiles as our spiritual Israelites. We all Israel, no, we're not. The Most High still in our kingdom was making a difference between Israelites and Gentiles. So God has not cast away his people. The promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our God stand true and faithful. Amen.
I'm